So hi all, welcome to another session. In this session we will see what is the difference between dates in period and DATEDIFF function. In our previous session we already covered the total YTD and the dates YTD function. All these five functions, they fall under the DAX time intelligence function, which is concerned with the summarizations over time. Okay, so generally these particular functions, right, they are used whenever we want to calculate some kind of aggregation, okay, over a particular time period. Then there are other DAX intelligence function that is concerned with only shifting time periods that we will cover later in our later videos, that we will that falls under the category of comparisons over time. So here we will be discussing dates between dates in period and DATEDIFF, which falls under the category of summarization over time. Okay. So we will see the definition, the syntax with the example, the dates in period and the DATEDIFF functions as well. So what are the time intelligence function? The DAX time intelligence function helps in creating calculation using dates. So these are some of the common use cases: comparing sales year to year, custom periods last 30 days or next 7 days, or the date range based filters. Let us look at the dates between. So what is the purpose of dates between? It returns a table with a column of dates between two dates. Okay, so we specify in the dates between we specify the date, the start date and the end date, and it will generate a column of dates, okay, between that is lying between these dates. So this will create a continuous continuous dates it will create. Okay, there will be no gap in between these dates. Okay, that we will see. For example, the sales between January 1st and March 31st, right? If we go to the next slide, you will see that this is the syntax. So you see the dates between, we will specify the date column, and from what date till what date, okay, you have to get the number of dates, like get the column of the list of dates that we will get as a return table. Okay, that we will get as the return table. This will return me a table of dates, right, a column of dates basically. So this will give us the dates from 1st of January 2024 to 31st of March 2024, and there will be no gap between the dates. Okay, this is very important. It will give us a continuous set of dates. Okay, now in dates in period, it will also return a table of dates within a given interval. So you see, both dates between and dates in period, they give us a series of dates, but it depends on what is how you are writing the particular query. Okay, in dates in period you give the start date, but instead of giving the end date, right, instead of specifying the end date, you give the number of intervals. This will also give you a series of dates, like there will be no gap between these dates, but here you will have to specify the number of intervals. So in number of intervals, if you specify 30, so from that particular start date and the next 30 dates, an interval will specify whether you want it on the basis of day, month, quarter or year. Okay, if you specify day, then for next 30 days it will give you a continuous set of dates. If you specify 30 months, then for next 30 months it will give you the particular dates, and the similar it goes for quarter and year as well. Okay, so here is one example. We are calculating the sum of the sales of amount, dates in period, dates of date it has been specified, max of date, that means I'm taking the maximum of that date, and I want to get the last 30. So you can also place minus as well. Okay, this provision has been provided that you can also place minus will represent that you are going backward in time. Okay, so the last 30 dates. Okay, if you specify plus, that means it will go forward in time, the next 30 days, right? And this is what should be the interval, whether should it be day or month or quarter or year. Okay, next comes the DATEDIFF. Okay, so in DATEDIFF what is happening, that it returns the number of intervals, okay, between two dates. Simply it subtracts the date. You can just thinking that way. Okay, it simply subtracts the date, and you will have to specify whether you want it on the basis of year, or whether you want it on the basis of month or quarter or year. Okay, or days. Okay, whatever you want to. This is an example. Okay, so this is the start date, this is the end date, and the difference you want it whether in days or whether in months, that is up to you. Okay, so this is the basic format of DATEDIFF. Okay, so these are some of the use case scenarios. Dates between is generally used to filter sales for a festival seasons. This is one use case. Okay, days in period, it is used for rolling metrics. Okay, like for example, if you want to find some metrics for the last 90 days or for last 30 days, you can do that. And DATEDIFF is for customer onboarding time. Okay, so I will be giving this slide to you, okay, in the description. You can find this slide in the description. Okay, now let us move to the Power BI. Okay, and let us see practically all these functions. Okay, for this particular demonstration, right, I have already created the dates table in which the date, month, quantity, amount, quarter and year is specified. Okay, so and I have listed them all in this particular table. For starting, I have also created one slicer which is on the base, which will be filtering on the basis of the year. Okay, so now let us go ahead and create a new measure. Okay, and in this measure I will be naming this as dates between. Okay, and here what I will do, I will calculate the sum of the quantity amount. Okay, and now I will be giving the dates between, and in the dates between I will be now specifying the dates. So dates means the date column, that is date of date. Okay, dot date, comma, the start date. Okay, now what I want is, I want to calculate the sum of the total quantity amount, right, from the date 1st of January 2022, okay, till the last of the month, last of the year 2022, like last month of the year 2022. So what I can do, I can definitely go ahead and if I will type date. Okay, and the year will be 2022, comma, month will be 1, day will be 1. Okay, this is the start date. End date will be, the year will be 2022, month will be 12, that is December, and day will be 31st. Okay, so it will give us the entire sum of quantity for the year 2022. Okay, if I go ahead and if I hit on enter, it will create that measure here. Okay, now let me go ahead, bring out one card. Let me go ahead and bring out one card, and let me place this card here. Okay, and in this card, let me go ahead and let me drag and drop this. Let me go to the formats, the call out value, and let me increase the decimal places to 2. Okay, so this is the total sum of quantities for the year 2022. To validate this, whether this is correct or not, let me also create one more card. Let me place this card here. Okay, let me place this card here, and in this let me go ahead and let me place the quantity amount. Let me click select on this drop down and let me select this as sum. Okay, and now if I go to this slicer and if I slice it on the basis of the year 2022, you will see that this particular amount, let me also change the call out value for this. You will see that the value for these two are the same. That means it is correctly calculating the sum of quantities for the month 2020, for the year 2022. Okay, now one thing that I will do is to create another measure, and this time I will be creating for dates in period. Okay, this will be calculate the sum of the quantity amount, comma, the dates in period, and now I have to specify the date again. So dates of date dot date. Okay, and then the start date. Now what will be the start date? Again I will specify the start date as date of date, sorry, not date of date. Start date will be only date. Now the year will be 2022, comma, month is 1 and day is 1. Okay, And now in intervals, number of intervals, since I want to find out for the entire year 2022, right, I can just simply go ahead and type in 365. So for the next 365 days I want the sum of quantities, okay, starting from the date 1st of Jan 2022, okay, and the interval will be days. If I go ahead and if I hit on enter, it will create the measure. Let me go ahead and create one card. Let me place this card here and let me drag and drop this here, and let me change the decimal to 2. You see, both this are giving me the same value. Understood? So the difference between dates in period and dates between is the way how we are writing it. Okay, let's say if I change this to 90, right, that means starting from 1st of Jan 2022, for the next 90 days I want to find out what is the sum of quantities. If I hit on enter, this will automatically change. See, 1.82 million. And the same way over here also you can do it, but instead of writing for the next 90 days, you will have to give the end date, okay, over here, so that you can get the same amount as 1.82 million. Okay, so maybe the next 90 days would be, if I go ahead and if I give it as 3rd, let's see, yes, see, so the next 90 days, which means the 31st of March 2022, and this will give you the same. So here this I would say that the dates in period has a much you can specify like the number of days starting from this particular day. You can specify the number of days. It can also go in the negative direction as well. Okay, like let's say if I want to find out for the next for the the last 90 days or the last 30 days, I want to find out what is the sum of quantities. So I can specify over here 12 and 31, and if I go ahead and if I give minus 90, that means starting from 31st of December in the reverse direction. Okay, so the last 90 days, what is the sum of quantity? If I go ahead and if I hit on enter, you will see it will give me the values over here. Okay, so that is what it means. Okay, so that is the difference between dates in period and dates between. Okay, now let us see for dates diff. Okay, now before discussing the dates diff, right, if you can just see, if you will observe the dates between and dates in period, okay, they will calculate the sum of quantities between two dates where the dates are going to be continuous. Okay, there are not going to be any gaps between the dates, right? Like for example, if I want to calculate for odd number of days, right, where the day is odd, like for 1st of Jan, 3rd of Jan, 5th of Jan, 7th of Jan, right, like this, if I want to calculate the sum of all the quantities for odd number of days, that I won't be able to do it using dates diff or dates in period, right? So how will I do that? Here you can use the datesdiff function, okay, by using datesdiff along with a combination of other functions as well. Okay, so the concept here is that if let's say if I want to find out the quantity, the sum of quantity amounts where the gap is for every n days interval, right, like for 3 days interval, I want to find out what is the sum of quantities. That means if I will take 1st of January 2022 as my starting date, then I want to find out after every 3 days, just find me this just add the sum of quantities. Okay, so I want to consider 1st of Jan 2022, then 4th of January 2022, then 7th of January 2022, like this. Now for n days also, n where n is a variable, you can also find out the sum of quantities for every n days interval, okay, starting from a particular date. Okay, so how will you achieve that? Let us use the datediff function to achieve that. Okay, so let us create one new measure. Okay, and here measure n days, if I give, then I can go ahead and let me create one variable. Let that variable be n, and let this be equals to 3 for the moment. Okay, then I will use the return function to return the value. Okay, and here I will be using calculate sum of the quantity amount. Now here I need to specify for every n intervals, right? So now how we are going to do that? The concept is that if I subtract two numbers, if I subtract two dates, for instance, DATEDIFF will give us the particular value, a scalar value, okay, lying between two dates, okay, a particular number it will give us. So if that particular number is divisible by n, if the mod of that number, right, if it is giving me the value 0, mod means the remainder, if the remainder is giving me the value of 0, that means if it is perfectly divisible by n, that means I will get the sum of quantities for every n days, right, for every n time intervals. So let us go ahead and do that. For that I will use the filter function, and the table will be the dates table, comma, within the filter expression what I will do, the DATEDIFF, now date 1, date 2. So date 1 will be, I will pick the minimum of the date, right? So, or rather I can pick up the date 2022 comma 1 comma 1, right? Or it's better to pick up the minimum of the date because I want to do it for the entire table. So dates of date, okay, comma, date 2 will be going to be your dates of date dot date, comma, interval is going to be days, okay. Now this is going to give us the difference between numbers, okay. Now I want to find out if this is divisible by n or not. So mod, this is the number, comma, the divisor will be n, which I have specified from this variable. If this is equals to 0, I want to find out the sum of quantities for all that particular days. So this is going to perfectly give me the the sum of quantities for every dates having a n days time interval, okay. If I go ahead and if I hit on enter, okay, and now let me create a card, and let me place the card here, and let me go ahead and if I drag and drop this, and let me go to the call out, increase it to 2 decimal places, okay. So you see this is the amount that we have, where for every 3 days, right, it will give me the sum of quantities, right. So it will pick this quantity amount for 1st of Jan 2022, then it will pick the quantity amount for 4th of Jan 2022, like this. For every 3 days it is going to pick the sum of quantities and it's going to add, and this is going to be the value. If you want to go ahead and if you want to change this to, let's say, 1 day, you see 1 day means it's again going to be continuous, so its amount should be equal to this particular amount, 22.26. If I go ahead and if I hit on enter, you see this will be equal to this. For every 2 days it will be giving me 11.13, okay. For every 5 days it is going to give me 4.47. So like this you can go ahead and you can use this particular DATEDIFF, you see. So here DATEDIFF becomes pretty handy, right? It will it helps us to find out the sum of quantities for every n days interval, okay. So that's it, guys, that's it, okay. That's the difference between all the 3 dates, the dates between the dates in period and DATEDIFF function, okay. In our next lecture, okay, we will see the comparison over time DAX intelligence function, and in the comparison over time DAX intelligence function we will see the date add function, the parallel period function, there is the sample period last year function, then there are some helper functions also, that is next day function, next month, next quarter, next year, previous day, previous month, previous quarter, previous years, okay. And there are some other additional DAX time intelligence function which we will see in our further sessions, okay. So please guys stay tuned, and please, if you have any questions or any queries, please list it down in the comment section. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notification. Thank you.